Police Chief Paul McDonald has high praises for the Department of Public Works following last week's storm. And post-storm potholes caused somewhat of a traffic jam last night in Hyannis. Plus, we hear what one local official thinks of a plan to build a third bridge on Cape Cod. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, January 7th, 2014. I'm Sarah Mantle. Police Chief Paul McDonald says dealing with the first winter storm of the year was made easier by all the hard work that took place in the Department of Public Works. McDonald praised the department for working through blizzard conditions over a 3-day period.
Unfortunately, we knew it was coming to not surprise anybody, and there was a plain time to plan for it. And I have to say, hats off to DPW. I think the town of Barnstable, their DPW, did a great job. They were out the day before. They were treating the streets prior to the storm. And then once the storm came, they were out there 24 hours a day. It's a huge challenge to them, I think, only because those drivers have to take a rest. They have to get some sleep in, and they were out there for almost 72 hours straight, and they did an exceptional job. There were a number of conference calls between MEMA, the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency, and we had a number of conference calls with the Regional Emergency Planning Committee to try to decide whether to open or not open the shelters. As you know, we are in the regional sheltering process, and there are 6 regional shelters across Cape Cod, and finally the decision was made not to open any of the shelters, and that was based primarily on the weather forecast. Although the weathermen hit the nail on the head, they said between 12 and 18 inches. That's pretty much what we got, but it was light, fluffy snow. There were gusts of wind up to 50 or 60 miles per hour, but based on all the information everybody had, that would not cause a substantial loss of power. So the decision was made not to open the shelters. However, there was a contingency plan on Friday morning. If it got worse, then the shelters were going to be open Friday. We did have everybody in place. We had conversation with the Red Cross, the DART teams, the Medical Reserve Corps. There was arrangements made to feed everyone. However, even at the height of the storm, I know in town of Barnstable, we only had 1 or 2 individual houses who lost power, and that was quickly restored. So all in all, as the event goes, it went pretty well for town of Barnstable. And again, most of the work was done by DPW, and they did an outstanding job.
Absolutely. McDonald says communication in between departments in town is imperative when it comes to cleaning up after a storm. The snow may be cleared from the streets, but damage to the road from the storm caused some trouble for a few drivers in Barnstable yesterday. Several drivers had to pull off Route 28 in Hyannis after blowing tires on a large pothole. Route 28 is a state road, and once alerted, crews quickly fixed the problem. DPW Director Dan Santos says when they are notified of similar problems, they quickly jump into action.
When we get those calls, we immediately call the state and let them know about the issue. And we also give the phone number out to residents that they can call the state as well to make sure that the information gets out there. But I'm not aware of any other, never mind major problems, any problems at all, really. Things seem to be going very smoothly.
Santos credits a dedicated staff and many contractors with getting area roads cleaned up following that storm. Support for a plan to build a third bridge over the Cape Cod Canal is getting support from some local lawmakers. State Senator Dan Wolf says it's time to evaluate whether the current bridges are serving our needs now or if they'll be able to serve our needs in the future.
Think about what people were driving in 1935 when the bridges were completed, and think about what the population of the Cape was and how modern those bridges must have seemed then. But now they are, on just about any traffic standard or infrastructure standard. They're old, they're narrower than they should be. They weren't designed to take the loads and the volume. Each bridge, those bridges are taking, believe it or not, Sarah, on an average year-round day, there are 95,000 vehicles that go across those bridges, both bridges in both directions. So, that's 22,000 vehicles on average a day going each way across. Let's take the Sagamore Bridge. They just weren't designed for that. So, if you look at the bridge overall, it's amazing that that bridge that was finished in 1935 is still serving the need. But it just, I think going forward, people who are experiencing delays in the maintenance understand that we need to maintain them more and more, which creates more inconvenience and backup, and has a huge economic impact. And that's only going to get worse as the bridges get older. We're going to need to do more maintenance. So, the current proposal is being discussed, and again, it's going to be a long process to look at different engineering schemes. So this is just one of the proposals.
Wolf says a public-private group set up by Governor Deval Patrick will review the proposal,
which is going to be looking at, if we're going to construct this, what should the partnership look like between the public and private sector? There are all kinds of discussions, not only about the technical aspects of traffic and will this improve delays and backups and facilitate better bridge crossings, but also how do we pay for it? What are the funding mechanisms? So this is going to be a long and a really good conversation with a lot of the stakeholders around the Cape, the business community, those residents who live here year-round, those who commute daily over the bridges, those who use them infrequently. So I would encourage everybody listening to be part of that discussion and dialogue going forward.
Wolf says whether or not this plan moves forward, some changes need to be made to deal with the high traffic volume and necessary repairs on the bridges. Some Barnstable residents want cheaper ticket prices for hockey games at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. Several residents attended last night's Recreation Commission meeting to urge town officials to lower the prices. Currently, to attend a Barnstable Youth hockey game at the HYCC, adults pay $12 for a ticket and students pay $8. Some in attendance also complained about the cleanliness of restrooms in the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. Community Services Director Lynn Poyant responded to these concerns.
Services Director for the town. With regards to the rate issue, it is under review. It's been under review since the weekend of the second tournament that Barnstable High School had. I was actually on vacation. Mr. Walters and others emailed me. I came in on Sunday, met with Joe to discuss the situation, came in on Monday and met with Tom Lynch to discuss the situation. So it is under review. It's my hope that we'll have a resolution to it by the end of this week. With regards to union, we are a municipal facility. We have staff, and our seasonal staff are not unionized, but our year-round staff is unionized. Our maintenance custodians have as one of their tasks driving the Zamboni. With 2 sheets of ice, half an hour of each hour that they work is spent on the ice and not cleaning the facility. When we did have a cleaning company, we actually had, I think, 2 different cleaning companies at different points, and we had some confidential situations that were associated with the cleaning company, which is why it was let go. We took the money for that position, for that service, and added an additional maintenance custodian to try to assist us in getting the facility covered during the amount of time that we're open. We are an enterprise account, and as such, we are supposed to try to the best of our ability cover our operating expenses. And that's where things came up. There's so many details. I would probably be here for the next 2 hours, and it's really not worth your time. Just know that we are coming to a resolution, hope to have it by the end of this week, and we'll move forward with that.
And we will keep you updated on this issue and let you know if any changes will be made to ticket prices for hockey games at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. The Conservation Commission will again be discussing the West Barnstable shooting range this evening, and the board will discuss and possibly vote on removing conservation land status from the shooting range. A parcel of land of equal value somewhere else in town would have to be selected as a substitution. Questions about the allowed use of a shooting range on conservation land had prompted this discussion. The Conservation Commission meets tonight at 6:30 in the Town Hall hearing room. The meeting will be televised on Channel 18. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.